So over in the corner where I was sitting with my daughter was these like little sort of like cushions that someone had put together. He just saw it and just kicked it and just destroyed it and then continued on. I was thinking like, why did he do that?
Because he's a boy.
He's a boy. Yeah, we like ruin shit.
Hi everyone, it's Blue. Make sure you like and subscribe and go follow me on Patreon. It's only $5 a month and you get an extra video a week.
I work here, you're not Jim!
Jim, I got us that dinner reservation. Greek goes 7:30.
Oh no, she's not. Today I'm going to be doing another Joe Rogan podcast featuring Bill Burr, and their discussion is society doesn't dictate gender differences.
That fucking thing?
You feel like a king.
You got a driver? What do you give a fuck? You don't give a fuck about anything. I could be on the road forever in that.
Just making eggs on that little stovetop.
No, you're in there drinking. You're doing what you want. You're watching Goodfellas or fucking Anchorman.
That is pretty beautiful. It's so well. It's an experience too. You're riding in that thing. That's a retro experience. That's not just a truck.
Yeah, that thing. My wife nixed it. She's like, where are you gonna put it? Whatever. I go, the fucking driver will keep it. I don't need it. She was right. My wife's always right. Not always, but mostly.
Women don't like when you collect shit. Like, where are you gonna put that? They don't like that. You get too many things. That's
I know.
half the reason why I got this place. Collect shit here.
Oh, yeah?
Nobody can say nothing. This spot, no one says nothing.
No, but then it becomes, you spend more time down there than you do up here.
I don't, though. I got it nailed. I figured it out. Get up early.
You're being such a jerk. That's why they don't have a point. I don't. I can actually refute your opinion, your point, or whatever.
It's so universal, too. All women have that response. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah. Their way or the highway.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, imagine being them and watching you. Imagine being a woman, taking care of your children. You know, you give birth, you get this little tiny infant, and then financially you're relying on this fucking maniac who's out there flying helicopters and fixing cars and playing drums all day. It's like, what are you... As long as the money keeps coming in, they can't say anything, but they're like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. At the end of the day, you married an 8-year-old.
Exactly. You want to marry a comedian? Oh, Jesus Christ. You know, you're lucky we're not drug addicts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I gotta work on myself, man. I gotta fucking, I am a difficult person to live with, evidently. I didn't realize it, but like I'm now looking at it, honestly, stepping back and looking, I go, yeah, I can see that. I can fucking see that.
Yeah, I've thought about it. I'm definitely difficult.
Well, if you don't think about it, they'll remind you about it.
Yeah. But I mean,
I like that even though they're pointing off differences about women and how, some of it's kind of critical, they immediately turn it on themselves and they're like, oh yeah, but could you imagine what it would be like for women to be married to us? I mean, can you imagine a wife or a woman having to deal with you? And it's funny because they kind of point out that they're like maniacs, or you're like an 8-year-old because you make funny jokes, or you're a comedian, so your schedule isn't exactly clocking in and clocking out every day with a suit on at the office. You're kind of just, you have to find very childish things funny and write and be creative, and you probably have to go do crazy stuff like jump on an airplane at a moment's notice because, they're also both famous, so it's just funny that they're acknowledging what women would have to deal with on the other side, dealing with them.
I'm definitely difficult.
Well, if you don't think about it, they'll remind you about it.
Yeah. But I would just imagine relying on me. I'm reliable. Like, I'm not.
I want to be like, look, if you could have married the me that worked in a fucking warehouse and I would have been the same thing, and we would be in a fucking studio apartment.
Here's the deal, though. They wouldn't have married you.
Huh?
They would have found someone better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. If you were just fucking off, never got your shit together.
No, you know what it is about women, too, is their ability to move on.
Yeah. Woo,
like I've always said, like if I ever fucking died, how quickly all my clothes would be down at the Goodwill, and she'd just be like, sell the house, let's just burn some sage.
Yeah.
That was interesting. All right.
Well,
next up to the plate.
All my discussions with biologists and people who study, like, what's Gad Saad's, what is his discipline? Behavioral psychology. But he studies, motivation.
His name is Gad Saad. Is that his last name? It's his full name.
S-A-A-D. G-A-D, That's his first name. Gad. S-A-A-D is his last name.
Oh, that's rough.
Does it rhyme? Does it also rhyme?
Lebanese-Canadian evolutionary behavioral scientist. Brilliant guy. He was on
So
the podcast
in Lebanon,
yesterday.
does his name still rhyme?
It's a good question.
Is there anywhere he can
Gad
go where
Sad?
it's, no, my name's Gad Sad.
No. He calls himself the Gadfather.
God,
He's a great guy.
Oh, so he just
amazing.
steered into it.
He's a great guy.
I can imagine when he was 13.
But brilliant
My
when he's
last
talking
name's Sad.
about
Why would you name me Gad, Mom?
Gad, sad. I don't think sad means the same thing over there. You know? Different language.
At the end of the day, it rhymes. There's
Does.
no country you can be on. You could be on that fucking little island where they shot that guy with the arrows, and they're going to make fun of you. They'll probably kick you off the island.
Yeah.
You can't name your like some of these celebrities. Some of the fucking names they name their kids. It's just like, don't you remember school? You don't remember how fucking mean kids were? Why are you giving painting a fucking?
Gosh, I really want to go into this discussion. It's hilarious, but I'll go ahead and cover what's already been said. I did think that it was funny that Bill Burr kind of expressed like he thinks that his wife would just move on fairly quickly and his clothes would be at the Goodwill within a week and she would just burn some sage and move on. I liked their points that they've made so far again. However, interesting because I actually would have assumed that if somebody were to have asked me who moves on quicker, I think the first sex I would have thought of is men. I would have assumed men move on quicker because typically, don't attack me in the comments, calm down, typically men look for sex more than women, and since sex is easier to obtain than love and security or commitment, I would have just assumed men move on easier. Maybe that is why they think that women would move on fairly quickly, because if women are the ones who search for security a little bit more than men do in their partners, then maybe they would be a little bit more hardwired to need that security. Even if something happened to their partner, they would, need security, so they would be a little bit quicker to have to move on and find that.
You remember school? You don't remember how fucking mean kids were? Why are you giving painting a fucking? I get it. You're creative.
Yeah.
Have a meditation room. Fucking don't do that with the name.
I know. Give him a nice Bill name.
Yeah.
William.
This is Folding Chair Johnson.
Oh my god.
People need to express themselves. They do it through the naming of their children.
My other favorite thing that what they do is when they put their political agenda on them. Like, the kid doesn't even have a fucking chance. Like, this whole thing, like, gender roles.
Babies.
By the way, my little experience being a dad going to kid birthday parties, those kids are not old enough for that behavior to be learned. Dude, the boys show up, it is fucking Braveheart. They come over the fucking hill.
Yeah.
The girls are social. They're sitting there, they're taking things in. The boys come in, they fucking... Dude, we were at one on Saturday, and there was this kid who's hilarious. He looked like a little Bobby Hurley. He was a point guard, right? And he was playing this game. He had, like, this ball, and he was using his like, forearms as a bat, and he was hitting it, then he would catch it, and then he would throw it between his legs, and he was doing all this. This kid's hand-eye coordination was great for his age. So over in the corner where I was sitting with my daughter was these little sort of cushions that someone had put together, like three-piece thing, and made it into like a little chair so an old person like me could sit down. So I stood up because I was worried the ball was going to hit, so I was kind of guarding that. So he went over and got the ball at one point, and just seeing the chair there, all built like that, he just saw it and just kicked it and just destroyed it and then continued on. I was thinking, why did he do that?
Because he's a boy.
He's a boy. Yeah, we ruin shit.
Well, you got a lot of energy. Little kids need something to do that's physical. Their little bodies have their little batteries overflowing with energy.
I'm just saying that their shit was all about
I loved that point. This little boy goes over there and just kicks it, and Bill Burr's like, I don't know. I think it would be very interesting only having one child, so you only deal with, one sex. And then you see other children, and they just probably weird you out every now and again. Like, oh, yeah, I have a girl. I have a daughter. She doesn't just wreck stuff. Or the other way around, like having a little boy and then having a girl who's like, I don't know. Now I'm going to sound like I'm placing gender roles on little kids. But I liked how he had talked about that because that's really funny. And I think for a lot of points, it's really true.
On with energy.
I'm just saying that their shit was all about grabbing, throwing,
Smashing.
breaking.
Yeah.
Breaking.
Yeah, do you remember being a kid?
Yeah.
Everybody did that.
So
it's normal.
this whole thing of like, well, women aren't aggressive like that because, you know,
society standards.
Yeah, I think they're aggressive in like, I think that they literally from like just survival shit. They're looking at like, all right, that's what I have to compete with. And you see them looking at the boys who appear to be dominating. And what they are is they're actually showing all of their cards. And the little girls are already taking it in, breaking them down, knowing, well, I can't get physical with this person. I can't like dominate this person physically. This is definitely, and they just immediately start going like, that's why they're fucking smarter than we are, I think. No?
Ooh.
Did I lose you somewhere then?
I don't necessarily think they're smarter. I think what's going on is that men we have different DNA, and the genes are aggressive, and men are supposed to be doing reckless shit.
Right.
That's
I'm just saying it's not society didn't sit down and they didn't watch 3 cereal commercials and then be like, oh, I need to be fucking this. I just think that's just some bullshit that adults came up with. And
it's not just adults. It's almost always women. It's women that think that there's something wrong with the way men are raising their sons. They think there's something this idea of these men raising these kids and these kids being aggressive is because of the way they've been coached. That's not true. That's just a part of being a boy. There's a shit ton of studies if people wanted to actually look at the science. I mean, if you leave boys alone with toys and girls alone with toys, boys will gravitate towards trucks and fucking, you know, things that they can hit and smash, and girls sit down there with little teacups and they play with dolls. It's natural. It's just 100% natural.
Yeah.
There was a documentary on babies. You know what? Babies are gender neutral. They're raising their kids gender neutral, so they don't call them a boy or a girl.
And my thing with that is there's no way you're not saying to your son, you're sure you don't want to wear the dress? And then the kid wants to fucking... It wants the parents' approval. Yeah, I didn't want that football. I guess I wanted the dress. And it's just like I said, you know, my kid's barely 2, so what the fuck do I know? I'm just saying my limited experience at kids' birthday parties is it's not even, how it was ever even questioned that, like, they're too young. They're fucking 1.5, 2 years old. Like, you're telling me that society...
I also personally really, really love psychology, and although I'm a complete amateur and do not have a degree, and I've only gone to school for a little bit with it, I have myself seen studies where even male chimps will pick things that seem a little bit more hard and destructive, or something that's a little bit more moldable, whereas girl chimps are a little bit more prone to picking something that's a little bit cushy and comforting, like a blanket or a stuffed animal, something that's a little bit more playful or soft. And so there's even differences in animals whenever they're very related to humans, but obviously not affected by society standards, unless if you want to argue that chimps are. I don't know. I am definitely interested in looking more into Joe Rogan, and I do really enjoy Burr, so it's just a plus if I find videos of them together. If you guys have any more suggestions, just leave them in the comments down below, and like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, go follow me on Instagram and my Patreon. You should probably go check that out. Thanks.